What's up, everybody? Welcome into NBA DFS Live for Friday, January 8th. I'm your host, Ben Hosser, joined by Justin Bales. Bales, we collectively as a unit last night had a really big night for our core plays. So I'm excited to take those vibes. We've just done really well for the bulk of the NBA season, to be honest. But
Mhm.
I'm excited to take those vibes into the weekend. We have a big slate tonight, 10 games. And then we have the small NFL slates, which I'm excited for, and then we have basketball as well. So this is going to be a good weekend, I think. Um, I don't know, like I didn't really talk to you yesterday because I was on the stream. So how did you do yesterday, and what's your thoughts on tonight's slate?
I did well yesterday. I kind of got trapped in the whole Bruce Brown thing. Um,
Oh my
but
God,
what?
just did. I don't know. Continue what you're saying, and then I'll tell you what I was going to say to Bruce Brown.
All right. I scored over 300 on DraftKings, so pretty easily cashed in that. I actually went to bed um, at like the halftime of the 10 p.m. games and wasn't cashing in anything. And I was like, I guess I lost tonight. And woke up and Luca and Jared Vanderbilt had just gone nuts. So it was a good night overall. Cashed in literally every league I was in, so you can't really ever complain about that kind of results.
Yeah, it was a good night. I don't know if you saw what happened to me, but I did not. I played Bruce Brown, but I did not mean to play Bruce Brown. It was supposed to be Chris Chiozza at point guard and Shake Milton at shooting guard, but like there was so much going on at lock that I played Shake Milton at point guard and Bruce Brown at shooting guard. So I didn't even mean to play Bruce Brown. That could have cost me. Luckily, it didn't. But that was like a 15, 16 point difference, and that could have screwed me over. So luckily it didn't. But I was tilting. I didn't know I didn't play Chiozza until like that game was almost ending when I opened my app. I was like, I was so confused. Like I was so confused. But luckily it didn't matter. So we have a big slate tonight. A lot of injury stuff. So as far as like the big ones go, the Nets are without Kyrie and Katie again. The Celtics are without like every big man on their roster almost. Tristan Thompson, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, all three of those guys are out. Markelle Fultz is out for the Magic, unfortunately, tore his ACL. And then a big one that we're waiting on, Christian Wood is questionable again, so we need to get that news to figure out if we're going to play DeMarcus Cousins again. Is there any other big ones? I mean, those are like the huge ones. I don't know if there's any that we're really waiting on other than Wood that are like slate altering.
Yeah, I think one more that we're kind of sitting on, and I would be willing to bet we're not getting it because it's 10 p.m. is Darren Fox. Because if he's out, Tyrese Halliburton's basically a lock.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that news. I ran so pure. So the other night that he got hurt, I had to late swap my cash lineup because it was dead. And I swapped Steph Curry, and I don't remember who else. I had someone cheap, and I had Steph Curry, and I swapped to Paul George and Tyrese Halliburton. And like it just ran so pure. It didn't even matter, but it's just hilarious that that happened. And then Halliburton at like 47, he was like 4,500. It's crazy, but yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get that news. That would be really nice if we did, but I don't know. I think like we've kind of talked about this a little bit. Like this is, I think people are starting to realize this, but it's gonna be like advantageous to have PMR remaining in your lineup this year so that you can like it seems like there's going to be news after lock like every slate almost, especially with like the health protocol stuff. So it's going to be smart to have PMR left so that you can make swaps later on in the night, I
Mhm.
think.
Another reason to get in our Discord too, because
Yeah, I mean someone
we're just
literally
kind of
posted
there all
that
night.
today. Like you don't have to worry about anything if you're in our Discord. Like just have the notifications on, and then when something happens, like we just tell you what's going on. You don't have to like grind it. But all right, we'll start at point guard. Where are you looking at here? I think at least for cash, like this could be a different take. I don't know if people necessarily want to do this, but I really want to play Russell Westbrook today on DraftKings. He's 10,400. A lot of people are going to play Celtics with these guys out, and I think it just makes sense to get someone on the other side as correlation. Obviously, all the rim protection is out for the Celtics, which is big when you think about Russell Westbrook, who's not a good shooter. He needs to drive to the basket. So I really would like to play him if possible. I don't know if I'll be able to fit him in my lineup, but like heading into like when I start building lineups, I would really like to play him if possible. So he is my favorite spend up today.
Yeah, I really like Russell Westbrook. I think Curry's going to be interesting because I'm guessing with basically they just kind of play 2 games against teams. It's just kind of what they're doing. So they played the Clippers in their last game, and now they get the exact same matchup at home again tonight. And Curry scored 28 fantasy points, and a lot of people attribute it to Patrick Beverley. Personally, I don't think that anyone in the league, I don't care who you are, is going to be able to shut down Curry on any given night if his shot's falling. So I think that Curry's really interesting. I would agree with you that I would probably rather just play Westbrook and get the correlation in cash. But I do like Curry, and I'm not necessarily opposed to James Harden. Orlando doesn't really have anyone that's going to stop him, and they haven't really been the super slow-paced team that we're used to knowing. And with Cole Anthony probably running point tonight, with Michael Carter-Williams and Markelle Fultz out, it wouldn't shock me. I guess I'm not saying, because I don't think the offense is going to run through Cole Anthony, but it wouldn't necessarily shock me if he sped the game up and played a little more in transition when he had the opportunity. So that could be a few extra possessions for Houston. So I don't mind James Harden. He's probably my third option behind Westbrook and Curry if you're spending up, but I do think that he's viable tonight.
Yeah, and I guess for what it's worth, like Curry is listed questionable. I don't really think he's gonna miss the game, but
I think they moved him to probable.
Okay, cool. So
I believe.
Anyway. I mean, I never really thought he would miss, but I guess like that's something that could maybe come out later in the night, and then like everyone would, anyone with not a lot of PMR would kind of be screwed. But that would definitely open up some value. As we drop down to the mid tier, we get the long-awaited Lonzo versus Lamello matchup tonight, which I think is gonna be fun. I think Lamelo's fine in tournaments. Lonzo too, to an extent. And then SGA, we need to talk about, I think, a little bit in that mid tier. And then Levert, I was going to save him for small forward, but he's point guard on DraftKings. He's, going to be one of the highest owned players on the slate. So we'll talk about him at small forward. But what are you doing with SGA? I kind of played him a ton at the beginning of the year. Haven't played him the last couple slates, but this is a really good matchup for him to get back on track against New York.
Yeah, I like him. He's coming off a big game against the Pelicans, which is... I don't want to say surprising, but I wouldn't have thought that would be the game to break him out of a slump. I don't have any issues with him. I don't think I'm going to be able to get there, because if you're just moving Levert at small forward, I mean, even at point guard, there just seems to be better options. I like Kyle Lowry at basically the same price. I think I would probably lean SGA slightly. But I'm not going to talk you off of him, and he's going to be pretty low owned, I would assume. I just don't necessarily think that that's somewhere that I'm going to be going, because I just don't think that I'm going to have the price to pay for it.
Yeah, I definitely think he's interesting in tournaments, but probably not someone that you would play in your main lineup. Cole Anthony, who you alluded to, I think is going to be popular. I like him a lot at his price point. He's not going to be scared to shoot the ball, which is good. But also doesn't have any huge games, right? Like he's topped out at like 27 DraftKings points this season.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the Magic's roster, if you take Fultz out and MCW out, I think he's played the most guard minutes, and he's been like a little under a point per minute. So not horrible efficiency. You would expect him to step into a larger role tonight, right? Like he played 32 in that last game. That Fultz got hurt in. So, if he's going to play 30 to 35 tonight, you would hope he has a pretty good game at his salary, because he isn't priced up yet. Like, definitely a price bump, but not where it could be.
Yeah, he played 30 plus in 2 games this year. And in the one, he shot 4 of 12, and in the other, he shot 5 of 18. So you're paying right now for basically his floor, because we know that's what he's going to do, because he can add assists and rebounds each night. But his shot really hasn't been falling at this point. And the night that it does go down, it's kind of like Lamello ball. He's really just going to pop off. So for 5K, it's just way too cheap for him playing 30 plus minutes.
Yep, I agree. Do you have anyone else you want to talk about at point guard? Like, I think for cash, like, you're probably playing like Cole Anthony, and then maybe like a spend up. But tournaments, like I said, I like SGA. You talk about Lowry, but you can go a lot of ways at tournaments. Like even John Wall, I think you could play at tournaments even at 8K.
I like Chris Paul at 7-1 for tournaments. And then if you're dropping down cheap, I like Austin Rivers. He's 4,300. He's going to get 30 plus minutes. And if his shot's falling, again, just really, really good upside for the price. And then at 3,400, DeAnthony Melton, he seems like he's just going to be locked into about 20 to 22 minutes. And he's about a point per minute player. So at 3,400, if he's getting 20 minutes, especially against Brooklyn, I would be 100% fine with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shooting guard is a different situation. Where are you looking at here? I don't necessarily know if people are going to chase Bradley Beal coming off that huge game at 9,700. Like, I would prefer to play Russ. But, I mean, playing alongside Russ has not affected Bradley Beal in terms of his usage rate and stuff like that. So, still an interesting run back kind of in that same game that we're going to be targeting. And then Jaylen Brown, for what it's worth, I think you can play. Like, I think a lot of people are going to focus on Daniel Tice from Boston, Jason Tatum, but you could play Jaylen Brown with those guys. I really don't think it is negatively effective.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I think at the moment, if I had to say what I was going to do in cash, I would honestly most likely play Karis LeVert at point guard, Cole Anthony at shooting guard, and then Jason Tatum likely at small forward, and then you can pay up for like Tice and whoever else you want at center because there's so many good options. I just feel like bigs are better than the guards. But in cash, I feel like honestly Cole Anthony or Austin Rivers are by far my two favorite options. So I would likely just play one of those point guards here. I do think Paul George is interesting. I just don't necessarily know if I want to pay 9,100 on this slate for him.
Yeah, definitely think like a bunch of these spend ups I think are fine. PG, Jaylen Brown, who I mentioned, Zach LaVine, I think is interesting as well at 86. Then you have Mitchell at 76. Definitely a lot of spend ups. Rivers I think is interesting because, I mean, he's coming off what did he play? 32 minutes. Yeah, 32 minutes. When it's just tough for me to trust when they're gonna give quickly some run. So I think that would put him below the other value options that we're talking about, but I definitely understand it. Another guy I want to talk about is Joe Harris. So Steve Nash kind of hinted that he's going to change the lineup again today. We're going to have to wait and see what's going on with that. But if they stick to kind of what they had last night, which was Karis LeVert starting and Joe Harris off the bench, that kind of let Joe Harris be the entire offense on the second unit, and that's how he responded with that huge game. So if Joe Harris is on the bench again today, I think he's a really strong play. And you can play him at small forward or shooting guard on DraftKings.
Yeah, I agree with that. The one thing I'll say about Rivers is that on the 4th, he also played 30 plus minutes, and that's when Quickly played basically 20, and it just seemed like Quickly just took minutes from Elfrid Payton. So I'm not sure that Austin Rivers is going to lose minutes to Quickly. I feel like Rivers is more or less pretty safe at this point for around 30 at least, I would say.
Yeah, you would put him below, so he's similarly priced. So we'll say Jeff Teague is out. Would you play Rivers or Peyton Pritchard if you had to pick? Because they're around right around the same price tag.
At the moment, I would probably play Rivers, honestly.
Okay.
But I don't know. I do like Pritchard. I played him the other night when he came off the bench and everyone was super worried about it. I might actually switch to Pritchard. Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, they definitely would project pretty similarly, I feel like. Do you have anyone else at shooting you like? You kind of highlighted you just played Cole Anthony here. Yeah. On DK. Halliburton, if Fox misses, has point guard and shooting guard. He's 5,400. Mm-hmm. So we'll say that we knew Fox is out. We would prefer Halliburton to Cole Anthony, I feel like, right?
Yeah, I would anyway.
Yeah,
And I think you would
I
be
think
fine
he's
just playing
better.
both of them too.
Yeah, you definitely could just play both. But I'm saying if you had to pick one, I think I would
Yeah,
pick Halliburton.
Halliburton for me.
All right. Small forward, Jason Tatum, you kind of noted, will highlight this position, I feel like, today at 9,200. You have LeBron and Kawhi at the top, Ingram, Gordon Hayward, Chris Middleton, Karis LeVert. So LeVert and Tatum, I think, are going to be two of the highest known players on the slate. LeVert has basically he's played 2 games without both Katie and Kyrie this year. It's been around a 36% usage rate for those 2 games with a 55 DK point average. They did move his price up to 7,400, but that's not high enough with those two out, right? Like he's probably like a 9K
Hmm.
player when you take those guys off the floor. So he's a stone cold lock. And then Tatum, like we've seen Tatum in a different role this season. Like Jaylen Brown has definitely ate into his scoring because Jaylen Brown has been extremely hot shooting the ball, but he's still putting up huge DK point games, huge pace up spot. Washington's #1 in pace right now in the NBA. So it's just a really good matchup. You know, you got to factor in that the Celtics are going to have to play a really tight rotation tonight, so the minutes are going to be there, and it's just hard for me to get away from him and LeVert both today. I think in cash.
Yeah, I mean, cash easily Jason Tatum and Karis LeVert for me. In tournaments, I feel like honestly just eat the chalk because I don't love the position. I will say either side of Brandon Ingram, Gordon Hayward, I'm fine with in tournaments. I slightly prefer Brandon Ingram to Hayward. They're basically the same price. Outside of that, though, I mean, you could take a shot on cheaper guys like Taurean Prince. If you want to go with Dwayne Bacon, I guess you can. RJ Barrett is almost 7K, and it's fine for the minutes he's playing. But in my opinion, Jason Tatum and Karis LeVert are just so much better than everyone else at small forward tonight that I feel like I'll just try to differentiate somewhere else.
Yeah, Joe Harris also has small forward on DraftKings, so you could use him in cash. But yeah, for pivots, I kind of agree with you. Like, there's no one I really like more than those two. Um, yeah, I don't love a ton of pivots here. I'm kind of cool eating the chalk as well. One guy I think is interesting, 6,200, Darius Baisley against the Knicks, just with how bad they are around the rim. I think he definitely has some tournament appeal. And I do want to know if Nash does switch the lineup up and TLC starts, he's 3,900. I would be interested in him if he found his way in the starting lineup, I feel.
Yeah, I like both of those.
All right, power forward. I'll let you start out here. Who do you like at power forward?
I mean, in cash, you're just playing Daniel Tice, and you're going to move on. He'll be. I would assume he's going to be the highest owned player on the
He should
slate.
be the highest owned player on the slate for sure.
And he should be. That's more chalk that you absolutely have to eat. Do not make lineups without him tonight. Outside of that, you have guys that we kind of talked about, Ingram, Tatum. I like both of them. I really like Draymond Green. I know James also really likes him, and it seems like he's going overlooked, but he's done very little in terms of scoring. He's adding rebounds and assists, steals each night, but he's done virtually nothing. He hasn't taken more than 3 shots in any of his games so far, and he played 31 minutes against the Clippers on the 6th, so I would assume he's going to play 30 plus again tonight, and 5,100 is just way too cheap for a guy that has triple-double potential, especially when you're getting him at such low ownership because it doesn't seem like anyone's really on him. So I feel like Tice is the obvious cash option. Draymond Green's a really good tournament pivot, even though honestly don't pivot off of him. And then another guy that's just super expensive, but is just getting all the run in the world and the offense is just running through him is Julius Randle. Someone just said in our thing, Julius Randle, as I said that. Yeah, Randle against Oklahoma City makes a whole lot of sense. 9,800 is a lot, but 60 plus fantasy point upside. And it seems like he's kind of priced himself out where he's not going to get ridiculous ownership anymore.
Yeah, I love Julius Randle today. Oklahoma City, like I've been attacking them with big men for basically the whole season. Randall's playing out of his mind. Noel is back, so that's going to take some of his center minutes away. Well, I shouldn't say he's back, but I think he's probable, so we're assuming that he's coming back. But yeah, I think it's a really good matchup, and the way he's been playing, like you said, that price tag 9,800, no one is gonna gonna pay that for Randle. We do have value today, so I think you can get him in if you want. So I think he's a really strong play. I think Zion's really strong play in tournaments as well against Charlotte. Another team I'm
You love
fine.
Zion.
I do like I do love him, but I think what it is like anytime I go all in on him, I've never gotten like that big game from him. Like
You just won it.
I just keep chasing it until I get it. But Charlotte's another team I'm fine taking big men against. Like I think Ingram and Zion are both fine plays today. But Zion I like just because he's still under 8K. So
I agree. I like Zion too. I think Pascal Siakam's actually kind of interesting too. He's relatively cheap, and in his last game, his usage rating was almost 34%. That's not going to stick, obviously. But, it's very clear when he catches fire, if they just want him to take over, he will. So I do like him against Sacramento as well.
yeah, I can get behind that. Let's finish up at center here. Giannis, who we didn't talk about, like, is going to go so under-owned on the slate. Like, there is value to fit him in if you want to, and just no one is playing him, which I think is funny. So definitely someone to keep your eye on in tournaments, or if, you have a really chalky lineup, one way to be different is just take one person and just use Giannis instead with the other cheap chalk around him. I think that's fine. In like single entry tournaments, AD is just not someone like. The Lakers just play so deep, and just not someone that I've really been playing this season. I don't think I've played him once. I think I've played LeBron one time. I don't think I've played Anthony Davis one time, which is crazy. And then you have Randle, Vooch, Christian Wood, who we need to wait and see on injury wise, and then Zion's right there as well. Vooch, I think, might get some ownership just because he plays Houston, who it doesn't matter if it's Wood or Boogie, like both are not great defenders. So I definitely think Vooch might get some ownership today. We'll wait and see, but I think he's fine. I'm not like trying to jam him in my lineup, but I do think he's a fine play.
Yeah, Vooch is one of my favorite centers. I really like him, but
I mean, how could Boogie or Wood guard him? Like they
can't.
Correct?
They're not even going to come close. Yeah. So it's just you're going to need something weird is going to happen if he's not going to at least hit value. Rudy Gobert, I feel like this is a nightly thing. He's kind of just going to get his 40, right, and then he has the upside for more, but he'll probably get right around his 40 and call it a night. That seems to be what he's doing at literally every single night. Mitchell Robinson, I do like, but I don't like him nearly as much if Nerlens Noel plays, which seems like he's going to. Valanciunas always comes with upside, and against Brooklyn is fine. Jarrett Allen's been playing bigger minutes. I do really like him. I think that he's significantly better than DeAndre Jordan. I thought it was weird that we needed to wait this long for DeAndre to lose some of the minutes. But Allen makes a lot of sense. And then if you really just want to get weird, Taco Fall is probably going to get around 15 tonight, right? Like you would think he's going to get like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they still have Semi Ojeleye, right? Like they could theoretically run him out there some.
I mean, you think that Ojeleye is going to play center?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he can.
Yeah,
kind of play center.
I mean, he played. What is it? Has he played any minutes all year? I don't know if he's gotten to a game. Has he gotten to a game?
Yeah, yet? I think he played 30 minutes the other night. Yeah, he played 13 against Miami, 30 against Toronto, 22 against Detroit. He's been playing.
Wait, Taco? I'm talking about Taco.
I thought you meant
No. I know Semi Ojeleye plays. I'm saying has Taco Fall like played at all?
Yeah, he played one time prior to the new year, didn't he? I remember everyone going crazy for him, but he played a really small spurt. I think I can.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't. I cannot trust that he's actually going to get anywhere.
6 minutes against.
He's played 6 minutes. Probably what did he have? He probably had 6 DraftKings points too in that 6 minutes.
He had 7.25.
Yep, he's like the anti-Boban, like, because we've never had like a Taco Fall night, right? Like we at least get random Boban nights. We've never had a Taco.
What I'm saying is the other night, both of us, and I mean, we went with it. Played Bruno Caboclo.
Dude, please don't remind me. Okay, But this is what I'm
We
talking
both
about.
played him. So what? Are we just
What
going to say
is
that?
the point? I'm asking Silas this myself. What is the point of using a roster spot on Bruno Caboclo if Christian Wood is out and Boogie is on limited minutes and Bruno doesn't get in the game? What is even the point of having him on your team? Like
Yeah,
you
I
could
know.
be
I don't know why he's there.
using that roster spot for something else. Like if he doesn't get in then, he's never getting in a game.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I'll say about Fall, you don't have to go there. There's way too much value. You do not have to go there. It's just if he gets 15 minutes, he probably hits value because he's going to score over a fantasy point per minute, most likely. And if they happen to give him 20 plus, I highly doubt anyone plays Taco Fall tonight.
Yeah,
honestly.
no one's playing him.
So
yeah.
I don't hate it. I'm not going to go there. I can already tell you I'm not going to go there. I don't think unless he's starting. But I don't hate it.
I do want to mention that I called the Steven Adams revenge game on the stream the other day at 44 DraftKings points against Oklahoma City. I did call that out there.
I called that a game too short. They played him in back-to-back, and I wrote him up for the first game. I guess not back to. I guess he scored 35 in the first game.
Yeah,
so
solid.
That's kind of a revenge.
Quietly solid, Steven Adams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that about does it. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat real quick. We'll answer them. And then if you have any questions after the stream ends, just hit us up in Discord and we will answer them. Bales, give me a bold call for Friday night.
A bold call. Draymond Green triple-double. First one of the season.
Could you imagine?
Wait.
Could you imagine?
That's a realistic bold call.
No, it is. It is. That could certainly happen. But I'm saying, imagine like 9 o'clock, 9:30 hits, and we just get that alert Steph Curry is downgraded to out for tonight. Like, could you imagine?
Oh, then it all
the
goes
rush
through Green
to getting Draymond Green into your lineups if that happened, man? That would be insane. I'm gonna go with Russ. 40-point triple-double for Russ.
40-point triple-double?
Score 40 points.
You know he hasn't even scored 25 this season, right?
Yep. Well, we're going for bold calls here. I'm not shy about it.
Frosty said, I'm assuming he means Russell Westbrook is going to triple-double in the first 10 minutes he's playing. The Karma account, who I can only assume is being run by Travis at the current moment, said Taco Fall is breaking records tonight.
Yep. Dude.
All right, here's some actual ones. Any love for Hollywood Terrence Ross? If Fournier's out,
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
I'm
cool with him. Dude, that's been my boy this year. That's been my boy. He has went off for me twice. So yeah, I don't have issues.
I'll say, even if Fournier plays, Terrence Ross is a fine tournament option. It's just he's going to be a whole lot better if Fournier's out.
Yeah, especially if we're baking in that Cole Anthony's going to have to do more. Like, I would assume like Ross is going to come off the bench, so he's going to avoid playing with Cole Anthony a little bit more. So that's actually good. Russ triple-double in the first half. Like, Frosty, I know, is joking about the first 10 minutes, but Russ triple-double in the first half is actually like a good...
Could happen.
That's actually a good bold call. I didn't really think
someone else said, does the Lakers game blow out? Honestly, it's only a 9.5-point spread, which is really large, but not like blowout. And I know you don't. I also don't project blowouts unless like the spread's like 15 points. So if you're worried about guys in that game not getting minutes, personally, I just don't really worry about that.
Yeah, I think it will be okay, if I had to guess, but tough to know. Why does DraftKings not have odds on Russ triple-double? I only see double-doubles. There's no triple-double odds.
They would just constantly lose money. You got to put it up.
I think FanDuel has triple-double odds.
Just bet it every single night. He'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, if you can get odds on Russ triple-double, I would bet it tonight. I can't find any odds anywhere.
And if you can get odds on Draymond Green triple double.
Oh, and
Just
then
put your house
the
down.
parlay, Russ and Draymond triple double parlay
Yeah, go ahead
probably
and
pays
put
out
your
like
house on
crazy.
that boy.
All right, all right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna do a football article later tonight, so it'll be out late tonight. In time for the games tomorrow. Oh, LeBron just got bumped to questionable. Anthony Davis questionable.
So LeBron's out.
I don't know.
Oh wait, Anthony Davis also
They're both
questionable.
questionable.
What's going to happen is they're both going to get ruled out, and then this stream is going
It's gonna be completely useless. But no. So see, this is what we're talking about. Get in the Discord. This is the stuff that we can break down in real time as it happens. We don't have to, you don't have to go look up this stream and figure out what we said. We'll just tell you right there. But that's something to monitor now as we head into lock. This stuff with AD and LeBron. But thank you guys for watching.
One second. One more question. It says, who plays for Aaron Gordon? The answer is Gary Clark.
Yeah, so I was kind of wondering if he's going to be a thing. We have so much value now. Like, I think if we didn't get to sell, like if Tice wasn't a stone lock, like maybe he would get a little bit more traction, but I guess he still could get traction, right?
Gary Clark?
Yeah. Like I guess could get some attention.
I can't imagine he does, honestly.
I don't know.
There's why go there? There's 100 other players at the exact same price that you would use instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I don't know. We'll see.
I'll get minutes.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna get minutes. But all right. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck tonight. Good luck this weekend as well. We'll be back on Monday.